Then I knew it was over when you figured me out.
Pause. Hi. Welcome to a twofer. You got a special wallpaper because I need to do so many reviews that I just lose my mind if I only spent 1-2 a day block on one DAC, because y'all know my opinion on DACs. Like in general, like you get a quality one that isn't like a $50 throwaway piece of shit and you're probably going to be fine. So when I have like a couple, I have like, I don't know, 6, half a dozen DACs lined up, I'm like, all right, let's piece them together and go about our business. Topping DX3pro and SMSL SU-9n. Because there's an SU-8 and then there's an SU-9. Now there's an SU-9n. And I've got them hooked up to the farm stack, which is the review incoming. Eventually it's coming. It's very, very pretty. I don't think anyone will question the quality of this. I've got the XLRs from this going into this, and I've got the RCAs from this because it only has RCA out going into this. They're both Bluetooth capable. They both have remote controls. The topping is half the cost of the SMSL, where we go from $200 to $400. And I'm gonna have to figure out why you want one over the other, because the topping actually does come with a headphone out also, which you could either look at as a positive or a negative. It really shouldn't cost much if you have a DAC to direct some of that voltage forward and put a little bit more gusto behind it. Not a lot. It's a convenience thing. I'm running my TH909s, which don't come off the wall nearly enough. I love these fucking things, but they're very amp dependent. And I can tell you straight away, this is not the amp for them. But I'll swap out something. I've swapped other headphones on there, and it's fine. It's a fine headphone. It's fine. It's a fine headphone amp. The SU-9 is a dedicated DAC, just DAC things, just DAC day, all DAC dick and day. Over here, I've got the Anandas with the pad swap. I'm going to link. I now have a Deconi affiliate link for the actual website. So look for the Deconi link to buy the perforated pads. I don't know, believe it wasn't making any money. And I still recommended all the Deconi pads. So switch this back to RCA. So RCA is now the topping, even though the RCA switches this way, the XLR switches that. It's fine. Carolyn Tuesday, Whisper My Love, by the way, everyone know what song that was. If you don't watch anime, but you love music, watch Carolyn Tuesday. If you love anime and don't give a fuck about music, watch Carolyn Tuesday. Because one or both of you will break, and you will become a lover of both. So I've actually matched the output volumes, because both of these can be adjusted. The volumes, you set this one to a full DAC and have no volume adjustment. This one you have to just sort of turn up and leave it there. The RCA output's obviously a lower voltage to the unit. So I have this at full and I have this at 85 out of 99. This is another one of those DACs that can't hit 100. That's why I was so ecstatic when I had the fucking last one that actually hit 100. I was like, oh my God, party time. So I can actually do the thing that I tell people not to do, where if I play a song with very good, very specific positioning, FLAC, and then just go, wait. I'm not here to shoot these two off against each other. They could live in harmony with each other. The one's twice the price of the other. So judging the external output voltages into a very, very expensive stack to, assess the DAC itself, even though I'm a reviewer and I'm reviewing a DAC, it breaks my heart if I'm like, well, this one sounds slightly more robust and more like a Pecorino Romano than a Parmesan. It's like, what the fuck are you saying? Other reviewers, every other reviewer, what are you saying? All right. Can you enjoy music on this? Yes. Can I enjoy music on this? Yes. Do you want balanced out? Then you want this. Can you live with just RCA? Then you want this. Do you want to spend half as much? Then you want this. Just get a DAC. Just get a DAC and be happy. All right? Can't say that shit enough. But seriously, I think I'm hearing a slight benefit, just the modicum. I don't even know the definition of that word. What is a modicum? What is a modicum? Do I know it? It's a modicum of like a little bit more soundstage, just like, and again, there's a break RCA. Switching over. XLR. You know what? I'm full of shit. They sound identical. They're outputting identical. The specs, if you want to know the specs, you want to know what internal chips you're using, I didn't memorize it. They're in the description. Go to links. I think I got both of these from APOS, and I apologize if I didn't. I'm going to figure out. But for now, I'm using APOS as my, like, where all the specs and shit are. Actually, let's see what chips they are actually using. So they should all be Sabres at this point if it's new. Oh, never mind. Buy the SMSL. Buy the SMSL. I literally, because I don't need to read like I don't need to read. This is America. I don't. So literally, I think it's finally happened. This is it. I wasn't excited to do this review because it's DAX. Timestamp, Zeos. Drum roll. A streamlined SU-9 experience, right? $400. Blah, 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 blah. The SMSL is a balanced DAC. Alternative super popular SU-9. This is a streamlined version. Blah, 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 blah. So what's different about this model? I could have just read this before the review. I didn't. First of all, SMSL has gotten rid of MQA support. Woo! Woo! That actually hurt my head to scream like that. But, fuck. I did forgone the UAT support, replace the 16-core processor with an 8-core, replace the 00 noise oscillators. So it downgraded everything. I don't give a fuck if they filled it with dog shit. They got rid of MQA. If you're looking for a DAC, I know exactly who's buying this. I wear my anime stickers. I just need to slap one on there. If you want a non-MQA DAC, a modern non-MQA DAC, there you go. Get it. Fucking be done with it. That's the only I didn't know if anyone was going to give a shit about this video. A fucking clap, and they put it on there. I've actually messaged companies like APOS and Linsol, anybody else who sells like equipment where MQA is like MQA. And I'm like, you know, the fan base out there. Like, people put MQA in things to sell it to people who want MQA. But I'm pretty sure those numbers have shifted. And I think you're going to show your support for non-MQA devices by literally, you don't even need a DAC. I don't have to fucking sell this anymore. It does great things. It has the sound color. We're going to get to that. Just buy it because it doesn't have MQA. And literally write a comment to the thing. Thank you for not having a unit that doesn't support MQA. So SMSL is now taking a fucking step towards a better future in tomorrow. If you don't know what MQA is, by the way, I will link Zeo's link Golden Sound's video on it. It's basically mostly Tidal was doing it, but MQA in general is just a Ponzi scheme to make many monies off of literally everybody. Artists need to pay to have MQA. Their songs encoded in MQA. Hardware companies, oh, you want MQA in your device because everyone's going to want MQA, just like everyone wants HDR and 3D televisions. HDR has its place, but 3D televisions, the manufacturers have to pay. And again, you have to pay because you're going to pay for the Tidal subscription service, which is now paying MQA to have MQA. Everybody pays MQA unless you don't. Thank you, SMSL. So there, the review of the SMSL SU-9 is basically done. The topping being the cheaper unit, I will literally get back to it. Don't run away too much. That was just, I haven't clapped. Like, look how red my hands are. That was a legit clap. New remote for the SMSL. Here's the standard topping RC15A. You know you've been doing this job a while. When you know how, I literally have a stack of like 5 of these on the shelf there for just every topping product. There's one, the new MX5 used an RC16 and it blew my mind. New remote from SMSL though, the RC8C. Much more streamlined. Look at the actual dedicated volume knobs instead of going up and down here. Like here, if you want to do volume, it's up and down on the circle. Unfortunately, because they put the volume here, which I can adjust and you can see it go up and down. Now, the up, down, left, right don't do jack shit unless you're in the menu, which it has a pretty extensive menu. I just feel like something else. Power. The center button here is to access the menu. Up, down, left, right, do nothing until you're in the menu. Input select. Function is for Bluetooth. I think you might be able to change that. I'll have to double check. Mute, which literally lights up a little thing that says mute. And then thing says muting. Muting. That's a cute name for a cat. Look at a little muting. And then your up and down volume, which is relatively fast. It's not It's not lightning speed. It's not super slow. They've done a good job of just picking a good volume speed. A little bit better in the hand of this remote. The topping. I'm just going to go back and forth with remotes. Power, mute, up top. You get to pick whether you want the headphone out or the line out. Some units will do line outs and headphone outs at the same time. This one, I don't believe will. If I hit line out, that's it. Line out goes to this. So if I switch, which is what it was on. If I go to headphone out, it says 0 of 2, output 2 or output 1. It changes the volume from 0 to -18 because it will remember for each one, which is good because don't blow up my babies. And then if we play music, now we have access to this. So headphone or line out choice. FIR is filter, so you can change your filter settings. There's 7 of these fucking things. Never hear a difference. M is high and low gain, so high and low gain mode just for the headphone. Low gain mode is +6 and high gain mode is +19. How obscure, like what happened to 0 and then +12? Like why would it start at +6 and then go to +19? What's arbitrary fucking numbers? Or I could see like 3 stages of gain, like -6, 0, +6. But apparently it's just, it's +6 and +19, which I actually might like the way this sounds better on high gain, even though I'm using, you know what, I'm leaving it on high gain for this. Auto is for auto on and off with the thing. And then you have the amazing fireballs, man, with the hex. So you have the contrast adjustment, which does low, low 2, low 3, low auto. I don't know why it's L. LED, L for LED. This has a full fucking screen. Like you can put an animation of a dinosaur running across with his dick hanging out. This is big old school numbers that I prefer this if I'm reading a number from a ways away. Like if you had this in your living room, I feel like that with low contrast, or even A for auto, which I think will dim it. I feel like that it's just more subtle. It just doesn't distract me. Where this giant screen, even though you could dim it, kind of does. I mean, you can read the numbers just fine. These are probably 35% taller. If we're comparing the two, that's literally that's the entire thing this does. It has gain settings. So let's see, hold on, gain, and then no gain, and then gain. The gain display comes on, and you get to pick between line out or headphone, and that's it. How does it power headphones? Decently. Like it's a $200 unit, which means if they spent $100 on the DAC, did they spend $100 on the headphone amp? Probably not. It's probably competing with like last gen shit stuff. It's a topping product. They don't make garbage. Nothing comes out that's shit. I'm running the 909s. It's not the greatest the 909s have ever sounded. I run a couple other headphones, like lightweight, like cost stuff, KPH 40s. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. There's no real bass boost. There's no real way to tune it. It just is doing its thing. It's nice. It gives you a headphone out, and it's a quality DAC. We got to actually look at the back of them in a second. But I'm going to go through the menu of this one now, because the SU-9n, which is now my favorite DAC, because is it the only DAC I've had in, God, how long that doesn't have MQA? It's got to be a while. It's got to be one for the books. All right, inside here. Here, I'll even do this thing where I take the camera off my head and we get real close, even though it's going to be blurry as shit. Because apparently the GoPro will not focus. Or I could do this, hold on. There, now we're in narrow field of view, so everything's much spookier. Or better, depending on your opinion. So there we go. Now we have in here. We have input, PCM filter, DSD filter, sound color, premode, DPLL, dimmer, brightness, reset, and version. What version are we on? Version 101. SMSL audio. Okay. So input, you can guess what that is, right? You pick your input, USB, optical, coaxial, Bluetooth. I actually took the Bluetooth antenna off this unit because I don't want it randomly connecting with things. PCM filter. Weird thing in this is you got it customized on top. Fast linear, slow linear, fast minimum, slow minimum, appetizing, fast hybrid, brick wall, and then customized 1. And I didn't customize any PCM filters. So from the factory, this has customized and customized 1 at the top and bottom of this list for PCM filters. So maybe they're trying to make it sound different. I honestly didn't spend enough hours pining over it to see what the hell it sounds like. DSD filter if you're using DSD. See, DSD is legit. MQA is not. You get different filter cutoffs from 47 to 70. Skipping sound color for a second. Let's work from the bottom up now. We did version. We know what reset is. Brightness is obviously... Oh, I fucked it. Brightness is obviously the brightness of the display. Even though that goes left and right, up and down still adjust it. So make it a little bit dimmer. Then there's dimmer, which is just set the display to be for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, up to 6. You have every second. That's weird. It doesn't go into minutes. It literally has 0 to 60 seconds in 5-second increments, which you gotta have the display turn off. That seems a little excessive. DPLL, which is for DPL bandwidth for jitter correction, defaults to 7. Which is the default value. It says default value underneath it. And then every time you change off of 7, it says lower for better de-jitter. So I make it 5. 5 seems to have no problems. I've gone real low, and sometimes music just doesn't come out of the unit. Or at least other units have done. Pre-mode is variable or fixed. We currently have it at the variable. If I was going to use it to feed something like this, which is what most DACs do, you'd set it to fixed and use the volume control here. Or if your volume control is temperamental, you could leave it on variable, drop it a couple decibels here, and then have a little better range. So I'm leaving it on variable for now. Now, sound color. This is something that hasn't showed up on an SMSL device in a while. In fact, I think I praised it last in the VMVA1, which is like their $600 crazy matching Class A DAC. And what this does is it actually changes the sound of your DAC, but in ways you might want. So standard is standard. Standard is bog standard. Then you have 3 versions of Rich, not Rich Evans from Red Letter Media. 3 versions of Tube, not Red Tube, known from the internet. And 3 versions of Crystal, absolutely the meth. So they do exactly what it sounds like they do. One makes the sound, the Crystal makes the sound a little bit more bright. You get a little bit more of that high end going on there. I'm sorry, I'm missing the wallpaper. A little more high end going for it. Tube sort of brings up the bass. Oh, let's get the other scroll. So Tube brings up the bass and lowers the highs just a touch. It's trying to be a tube amp. It's trying to wonk it to the just a little bit. And the levels 1, 2, and 3 are the levels of it. And then Rich just is like an overall slight bass boost, warmth of the mid-range. I don't think it touches the treble at all. And it's those are the only adjustments that I fully fucking accept. Because sometimes you just need a tweak. Not of Crystal Method, but you just need a tweak of sound. It's just like, you know what? I love these speakers or these headphones. I just wish they were less something. And those are good options. I truly wish they didn't have just 3 versions of 3 and they have 9. I wish they had, 2 versions of 10. Give me one that just literally says badonk. I want to put on the badonk to level 2. Because those are the sorts of changes you can make in a digital signal processor that can actually improve what you're hearing for yourself. It's not a bass boost, it's not a treble boost, it's an actual sound change. Let me get out of this narrow now so we can go back to seeing these waifus from far away. I was tempted to put it in super view, but I feel like that would make a lot of people sick, where it gets super fucking wide. I may also switch to a weird format where it's like 4:3, because I did my computer monitor, I did the GDM W900, and I really like the way that looks. This amplifier, or this DAC-lifier, there is an amplifier in here to power the DAC. Relax. Full 110 input. Here's your plug for the Bluetooth, which the antenna is probably in the box. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm done having to hook my phone up to 97 devices. My poor phone looks like a goddamn, looks like a lot lizard. It's like 200 Bluetooth devices I've tested, and I gotta go through them and delete them. Or like, did I sell this in the yard sale? So Bluetooth antenna here, USB full size, optical, coaxial. Those are your main inputs there. You get balanced outputs, and you've got these are connected to those speakers, which we will test in a second, because these are the RCA outputs. I will have to make sure this doesn't explode, that. And then I'm going to go back into the menu, and I'm going to set it to, it's set to pre-out, so that's good. Hold that button to get out of there. Lower the fuck out of this. And we'll turn those speakers on using a switch. Because that's the easiest way to do it, by the way. Just have your powered monitors, wherever you have powered monitors, have a switch that turns 110 on and off. Or if you're in another country, 220. The back of the topping is a little bit different, and I've not seen this in, like, I don't know if ever is the word. It uses a transformer. It's not that big. It's down there behind this very jank fucking cable. Here's your Bluetooth antenna. I kept it on this so I wouldn't lose it. Full-size USB. Optical input, 1. 2 coaxial inputs. 2 coaxial inputs. So you actually get 3 SPDIF inputs because they could. That's fucking nice of them. If you want to switch between them, you press the button in the front. Coaxial 1, coaxial 2, Bluetooth, USB, optical. I thank you. Thank you. I'm glad it needs to have both, because sometimes things have optical, sometimes have coaxial. But if you have room for it, fuck it. You're winning the day. You're doing great, sweetie. Here are those crazy. By the way, I'm using nothing but world's best interconnects, and these are the KTEs. These weird looking, very thick RCA cables. These are like 170 a pair. They don't for sound. But at least this company, at least this brand, is trying something different. Because if you're going to sell me expensive cables, at least make it fucking different. So these are like very stiff, like they feel like a plastic. They don't even feel like a rubber. But the end is like, you look at it and that's all plastic. There's no metal. The whole point, they actually explained it to me. There's just this little metal contact here. I don't know if you can see it, a little shiny bit there. So you get the normal pin, and then you get the smallest little hook on the side. So instead of having a big chunk of metal at the end of your connector and then it going into small wires, it's just a small wire all the way through. Does it make a difference? Maybe science can prove that. I just think that's kind of fucking cool that they actually did a thing. So now that I'm done pimping KLE. It's such a small writing, I can't do it. Now that I'm done discussing the weirdness of those, that's the end of the back of this. The fact that it has 2 coaxials and a SPDIF fiber optic is pretty fucking unique. So what are we done? Are we done with this? We're gonna put some sound on the speakers. We've got that going. We've got. Actually, let's go back to talk. What's playing? There we go. Use the remote. I can't play any more than that. I've had so many copyright claims for, I look, 7 seconds. And I don't know which song is going to do it. They don't shut the video off on YouTube. It takes a lot to do that. Or I have to get real unlucky with my list. But 7 seconds is enough to be like, hey, you know that like $45-50 you were going to make in this video? Yeah, you're not going to get that. There's that one YouTuber who did a thing. It's pretty interesting. Because when you get a copyright claim, they don't split the money with you. They take it all. They just say, oh, you were going to make any money? No, mine now. So what this YouTuber did, which is fucking genius, is he has like an opening and ending song, like a 15-second song that he plays at the beginning and a 15-second song he plays at the end of his videos. He uploaded those to sites that do copyright claims, and he copyright claims himself. That's the only, because then if he does something else in the video and he gets copyright claimed, instead of the money going 100% to that asshole, only 50% goes to that asshole. He still gets 50% of his money. And he's not like he could say, I own this video. YouTube won't let me say, I own this video. Give me half. They don't give a fuck. As soon as the copyright shit goes click, you own none of it. They take all the money. So the dude legitimately copyright claims his own videos to get half the money back. That shouldn't be a thing, YouTube. Why do people have to go through this? Fuck. Anyway, I'm wrapping up my thoughts now. I'm in a good ranting mood. Maybe I'll do another one of these. Wallpaper in the description. I think for $200, if you need a DAC that has a remote control, that looks good, that just happens to have a decent headphone out. Not the greatest in the world. You're not going to get an adapter. It's only a 3.5 millimeter, by the way. I don't know if you might have thought it was a 1/4 inch. Aha! No, it's a 3.5 millimeter, which off the bat turns me off a little bit because like everyone knows this, but this is fragile, and a 1/4-inch adapter just doesn't break. Like you plug a 1/4-inch in a million fucking times, and it's like I don't give a shit. The wire will break first. The back of the unit will break first. The 1/4-inch never break. 3.5 millimeters, get a little crooked. So it's nice that it's there. It's a nice little afterthought. It's like, oh, we added a headphone jack to this. So if you have a desk and you're just like, I need it more for speakers. I want a remote control so I could have RCA out to control speakers. And I need 3 digital inputs and a USB. This has 4 digital inputs. 4 usable digital inputs. Bluetooth I don't count as really an input. It's got that though. Actually, does that mean to have 5? It's 5 fucking inputs on this thing. Just like your mom. So that is $200. I don't have to sell you on it. You know if you want it. It looks fucking baller in silver. Oh, and by the way, I didn't listen to the knob. I love that. That sounds fucking sex. The SU-9 doesn't have MQA, and they advertise it that way. Fucking sold. I have to do nothing else. It's $400, so it's not a cheap DAC. And unlike this, where just happens to have a headphone out, so you're buying this because DAC. DAC. I want a DAC. I want to spend money on a DAC. A good DAC. Here you go. The color options alone should be a $50, $60 fucking add-on. Just to take a shit and be like, you know what these speakers need? A little bit of crystal. Again, not method. Here, let's put them on crystal 2. So now, well, actually, no, wait. Yes, these are hooked up. That's good. This. Epic Score I can play. But I mean, it's not really music. Is it? I can tell there's a little bit more. I could tell it's legitimately crystal. A little more crystal clear. Crystal clear. Just to play with those is worth like 50, 60 bucks. Just to have the option. So then you got full balanced output. You've got all your inputs. You got Bluetooth. You got a remote that is actually a nice remote for a change. SMSL, thank you. It doesn't go to 100, so 5 points off. But if you have an SU-9 or you want the next version of the SU-9, and I wonder if they've stripped it down and made it slightly cheaper, but they've added the Saber DAC now, of course, housed in a CNC. Anything else you're going to tell me that's like a reason? No? Yes? No? Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. Pick that up. This is more of a serious DAC it has the connectivity to do balanced output. If you need balanced output, you're not looking at this anyway. There's other cheap $200 balanced DACs. You get the Shelly Labs. You can get the fucking Modius. But if you're getting this, you want the remote control, because you don't get that in the Shelly or the Modius. You want the remote control. You want those outputs. You want all these inputs, and you want no fucking MQA, and you want those crystallized settings. These are actually pretty perfectly priced DACs. Would I want $50 off both of them? Sure. But in the world of like, fuck you, this stack exists and people want to have a DAC that expensive, these are perfectly fine. Anyway, I'm done. Wallpaper in the description. I'm going to be doing I think I'm going to combine a bunch of more videos together, so I'm going to have to get some more wallpapers that have like 2 or 3 or 4. A lot of Cerebus, the doggy demon's going to end up here. So yeah, I'm done. Links to these, wherever I got them from. I'm pretty sure it's both APOS, but I got to make sure it's not Ayoshida or Linsol. Linsol doesn't really sell SMSL stuff. It's Ayoshida, Linsol, Hi-Fi Go. A couple places send me things, and some places send it to me direct. But I'll link to wherever they actually came from, I hope. I'll link to the headphones I'm using. I'll link to this triple wing cable. Did anyone even notice how nice this fucking cable is? If I ever needed an excuse just to fucking, like this cloth fucking cable is sex. And then this one is a scable, because that's also sex. So link to the Viking Weave. He still doesn't have a site, only has an email. If you want to have like a custom made cable, this one has the split at the very connector, so there's no split in the middle. If you want a custom cable like that, then contact Skedra. Have them make you a Viking Weave. So anyway, wallpaper, these, probably that, because I'm going to be using this to diagnose DACs until I have to send it back to its owner. And we're good to go. And the links to the Fluid Audio FX80s, because those are the speakers that are set up on my desk. And I've got quite a few options. But I think these are so like $400 for the pair, and they sound like this. Fuck. These represent Zeos in the speaker realm for a long time. Anyway, I'm done. You guys go home, and I'll see you all in 2 days. Don't forget to check out my second channel, by the way. And merch is coming. Spoiler alerts, because I don't know how long in the future I'm releasing this video. Merch is coming. Like, I have some merch. You might be able to get it. But there's going to be like an actual... I have a friend who's actually going to have his basement filled with t-shirts. And we're trying to figure out how many really extra small people there are. And how many wants pins and hats and fucking... I want sleep pants so bad. It's very hard to make custom sleep pants. But anyway, I'm done. You guys have a good weekend. And if it's Monday, I hope you had a good weekend.